The New York Jets are an awful team to root for, and you should never teach your children to root for them.
All right. Yeah, that is the most ridiculous thing But wait a second.
And I know the angry, sad, self-deprecating Jets fan is like a totally played out trope, but everybody does it. I'm not special for doing it now.
I hate this team. I hate them. I hate them.
But I needed to make this video it's almost like therapy, because now something in my brain has snapped. Because, and unfortunately, and I'm sure he's a great guy, but Joe Flacco is what made my brain snap. Specifically, him starting week 1, because I knew exactly what the result would be. The Jets wouldn't score more than 10 points, they'd play a very boring game, and they'd of course lose.
And you didn't disappoint.
If they were a franchise that actually went to the playoffs more often, or won a Super Bowl in the last 50 years, or hell, would just get there, I wouldn't be like this after one game. I'd be patient. But I'm out of patience now. I've been watching for 25 years, and specifically, the last 10 years has been the worst stretch by far. Normal football fans go into the season ready to root for their team. But me, a Jets fan the last 10 years,
I compromised.
I begin rooting for the Chiefs or the Packers around week 8. You know, relatively competent organizations. So when I have to see this freaking guy who looks like he should be working for UPS at this point in his career,
You get a horse and live in the mountains someplace and don't bother anybody.
step on the field and try to lead this offense, I'm sorry, that doesn't get me juiced up. I mean, it gets me pissed, obviously, as you can see, but it does nothing for me. We're not winning with that. That's not going to work. And the most maddening part is we all know, the Jets know, Robert Saleh knows it isn't going to work either. Like, they know already, but they're going to keep doing it. They're going to throw him out here and watch really boring football. And Robert Saleh can talk all he wants about receipts. Oh, I'm going to keep the receipts. I'm going to. Dude, I don't even know what you do on the football field. What does he actually do? Does he call the defense? I don't see him calling the defense. I don't see him. I know he liked to jump on the field and flex a lot when the 49ers were playing well, and he was the coach over there. But what does he do besides have his arms crossed and just sort of stare out into space? And just back to Joe Flacco for a second. How long is Joe Flacco going to be starting for the Jets? Oh, 3 or 4 weeks. Okay, so we're going to lose the first 4 games. That's basically what you told me. And I was very vocal about this on Twitter, and I had some people responding predictably, well, are you going to throw Mike White out there? He's no better. Are you going to throw this guy out there? He's no better. Just not, hey, we're going to lose this game guy. With Joe Flacco, it's just such a conservative move. It's such a just like, well, he's the guy who gives us the best chance to win. The guy who gives us the best chance to win hasn't won a game yet as a Jets quarterback. I think he's 0-7, 0-8, whatever the number is. That's the guy. That's the guy who gives us the best chance to win, the guy who hasn't won. On a metaphysical level, I can't wrap my brain around how bad they fucking are. And how, as a franchise as a whole, and I'm not just talking about the play on the field, I'm talking about the whole experience of being a Jets fan. The whole experience has been absolute garbage the last 10 plus years.
Play like a Jet. What does that mean? Play like absolute just garbage.
Oh, we got a new stadium in 2010? We got that brand new stadium. It's a giant fucking air conditioner. It's in the same spot the old stadium was in. So if you live on Long Island, you live in New York, it's basically a giant middle finger to you, because if you go to the game, guess what? Those tickets you bought, well, you're really only buying a ticket to see the first 3 quarters, because if you actually want to get home on time, and you live on Long Island, where a lot of Jet fans live, you live in New York, where a lot of Jet fans live, because they're the New York Jets, no offense to New Jersey people, guess what? You're leaving in the 3rd quarter, because you want to get home on time so you can go to work tomorrow. So when you buy a ticket as a New Yorker to a New York Jet game, you're essentially overpaying, because you're not going to get the full experience. You're not going to stay the whole game. It is a miserable experience going to that stadium, and it is one of the worst things in the world trying to get back home from that stadium. It sucks. There's no other way to put it. There's no good way to do it. You can go by train, you can go by car, you can go by boat, you can go by helicopter. It fucking sucks. And if you want to add insult to injury, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys built their new stadium around the same time. It cost less, and it's a million times nicer. And let's take it a step further now. What about home field advantage? Do the New York Jets have a home field advantage? Have they had a home field advantage in the last 10 plus years? No. That stadium never gets loud. Almost never. It never rocked like Giant Stadium did. It just, and believe me, there hasn't been much reason to get loud. But the point is that half the stadium is filled with the other team's fans. When I was a kid and I went to Giant Stadium for Jet games, at least there was a home field advantage. At least when the team was on defense, it really was hard for the other team to communicate. It got loud. There is no home field advantage at that stadium. It is completely lifeless. Nobody gives a shit. And really, they haven't really been given a reason to give a shit. And something I've never really been able to wrap my brain around is with Fireman Ed. You know, when I was a kid and I would go to these games, like that was a fun, as a kid, like that was a fun part of the game. Like people would do the Jet chant. I know other people make fun of it, but like that was fun because it was loud. You could hear a pin drop when Fireman Ed would tell everybody to be quiet right before the JETS chant. It was part of the team's identity. Like the franchise actually had an identity, a semblance of an identity. You know, we didn't have our own stadium, but at least it was loud. At least we had some home field advantage. We had our own chant. We had something there. But then we couldn't even have that as like a nice thing. Like even that got ruined because I think I don't know the whole story, but people started being mean to him and cursing at him or whatever. Something happened there. And I don't know why a lot of people I've seen don't like Fireman Ed. I don't get that one. I'm not trying to be Mike Francesa right now, but I have met the guy. Listen, I met him, okay? And he was like a super nice dude, and I'm actually happy he's back at the games, but I remember the last time I was at MetLife Stadium, the big screen sometimes does not focus on him when they do the Jet chant. I think they try to have other people do the Jet chant. I don't know, but it's like another thing where it was like, this is like a pretty cool thing that we have, and no, fuck that. We can't even have that. So that's one aspect of this. So you say, okay, I'm just not going to go to the games anymore. I'm just going to watch them on television. Because they've been bad, obviously CBS and all the other networks are not going to put their A or B or C teams on Jet games. They're going to put their E and F teams on Jet games. I'm not going to attack any of these guys personally because it's not their fault. They're just doing their job. But there's just something really irritating about having to hear from a national broadcaster, you know, Jet fans just need to be patient. What the Jets need is for them to, get the run game going.
Turn it off!
We haven't had a fucking quarterback in decades, but we need to get the run game going. And if the last few minutes of my rant haven't been petty or petty enough, this is probably going to be the most petty thing I complain about. The new uniform, and I put new in like quotation marks, the new logo, like they couldn't just put a jet on the helmet, like an actual fighter jet or a plane on the helmet. I don't know. Like you're the Jets. Like put a jet on the helmet. I could already hear the people typing away. That has nothing to do with the football game. That has nothing to do with them winning. Yeah, bro, I'm sure they'll win more if they change the jersey. Now, for you guys that can think outside football a little bit and think about other things, abstract things and visual things, football is a game that was made for television. It's actually like a beautiful thing to watch on television because it was tailored to it. Like that's its history essentially, is that football and TV were like made for each other. So I want to look at my team and be like, yeah, that's the team. It looks cool. Like it's a cool jersey. It's a cool helmet. It's a cool logo. I'm sorry, this the whole scheme they got now is just so, it's boring. It's uninteresting. And I guess it's fitting because like they're kind of a boring, uninteresting team that nobody can get I can't get excited for this team. So I guess actually the logo, the jersey, the new uniform fits. So originally I thought I was going to go through the last 10 years, each embarrassing moment. But to be honest with you, I don't even want to waste my time doing that. I mean, I could like rattle off this shit. I mean, where do you want to begin? I mean, we could go with them losing to the Steelers in the AFC Championship game. I mean, that wasn't so embarrassing, but that was a big fucking letdown. Then we have the fact that after that loss, I just remember thinking, oh, they'll be back. Tom Brady's getting older. We have Rex, we have Mark Sanchez, we got a foundation here. Tom Brady's still playing as I make this video, and Rex and Mark Sanchez are on TV.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
So that didn't work out. You have Santonio Holmes getting into a fight the last game of the season, totally making the team implode. You have the Jets losing to the Giants on Christmas Eve, which essentially set both franchises in opposite directions. You have the Patriots and Giants playing in a Super Bowl again, which, you know, as a Jets fan watching that, it's just painful. And then you have what? They bring in Tim Tebow the next year. How about that Week 13 game in 2012 with the Arizona? I think it was 2012 with the Arizona Cardinals. That game might be the worst football game ever played. So if you ever want to just do harm to your brain, watch a replay of that football game. They had John Idzik as their GM for a little while after they got rid of Mike Tannenbaum. Do you know who John Idzik is? I still don't know. I'm still trying to figure that one out. McCagnon, both end up getting fired just like we knew they would. Yeah, I know, 2015. Well, guess what? 2015, we got a nice Ryan Fitzpatrick special where he plays awesome sometimes and then just shits his pants when it really matters. They dropped that last game of the season to Rex Ryan and the Bills, who had nothing to play for. Typical fucking Jets, or you want to say it, same old Jets. Then you have them not drafting Patrick Mahomes. Instead, they fucking draft Jamal Adams because guess what? They already had their quarterback. Mr. Coffee Man, McCagnon, knew they don't need Patrick Mahomes. They had Christian Hackenberg, who was so good at football that he actually felt bad for the other teams he would play. So he purposely decided, you know what? I don't want to make people feel bad, so I'm actually going to try to look really bad when I play. Because Hackenberg's such a nice guy, we never really got to see his talent. So then what else happened? Oh, we drafted Sam Darnold. I remember being the stupid asshole I am, being so excited along with every other stupid asshole Jet fan. Oh, here we go. We got our guy. This is it. His first pass was a pick six. We should have known then that this is a disaster. Then we get what? We get mono. He catches mono. We get the seeing ghosts game on Prime. There you go. Another fucking embarrassment during prime time. Oh, yeah. I didn't even mention the fucking butt fumble. You have that too. That's the one everybody knows about. What else? Oh, you have Manesh Mehta. Remember that guy from the Daily News? He was trying to fucking stalk Adam Gase and Joe Douglas. Who would want to coach here when the press is insane? You have that whole freaking... Look into Manesh Mehta. Look into that guy, and you'll have fun with that rabbit hole and everything he was involved in. And then you have Adam Gase.
No, we want Gase.
Adam freaking Gase. You have Adam Gase, who looked like a serial killer during his press conference. I don't remember one person, except maybe Manesh, saying that this was a good idea. I don't remember one. I remember the day, I remember sitting, I was eating lunch, talking to a friend, or I was texting or something. I remember going, we know where this is going. He's not going to be the coach in 2 or 3 years. They're going to fire him because he sucks. We already know he sucks. What is this waste of time? And I can't even blame Woody Johnson. I'll blame his brother.
You know, he is intelligent, forward-thinking, aggressive. He's to paraphrase Wayne Gretzky, he's coaching to where football is going.
And what's even more amazing is that Peyton Manning has screwed the Jets now twice. One, when he didn't want to come out of college when the Jets would have drafted him. And this time when he had Adam Gase, he gave a recommendation for Adam Gase to be the Jets coach. Thank you, Peyton.
I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days.
And how about this? Over a 10-year span, the Jets decided to draft defensive players in the first round instead of offensive players for the majority of the time, even though this is an offensive league. No, let's keep drafting defensive linemen. And you know what? I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch of embarrassing, terrible things this team has done over the last 10 plus years. But you know what? I'd love to end this video saying something positive like, hey, we're due. Hey, you know, these things are cyclical. Eventually they'll win. But that's bullshit. There are no guarantees in life, and that includes sports. And I may live to be 100 and never see this team win a Super Bowl. And I get it. This is supposed to be fun. What are you getting so upset about? Well, if you go back to the beginning of my video, what made my brain snap is that I can't even enjoy week 1 anymore. because they're already throwing in the towel when they tell me that Joe Flacco, who is the human equivalent of the leftover fucking food in the refrigerator, is the guy who gives us the best chance to win because, hey, there's nothing else in the refrigerator. I might as well eat this shit. Then I'm sorry. That's where I check out. That's where I don't give a shit anymore. So, will Robert Saleh, Zach Wilson, will this lead to something? I think you know the answer by now. Just look at history. What do you think's going to happen? And Saleh, I know you're holding on to the receipts. You made sure to make it a point that if anybody's criticizing the Jets, you're writing it down. You're right. You got the receipts. Please, take everything I'm saying in this video. If you go and win a Super Bowl with this team, you can take everything I'm saying in this video and literally shove it down my throat. I don't care. Please prove me wrong. But you know what? I feel really good about saying you're probably not going to be the coach of this team in 2 years. And boy, in 2 years, when I come back to this video, I hope I'm wrong. But I'm probably not. Anyway, thank you for watching and God bless.